She spoke it like an order, as if I were a defendant, as if the man who had constructed her entire existence from nothing had suddenly transformed into a felon in his own residence. The forensic auditor, wearing a gray suit and trembling hands, glanced nervously between us. But she remained unmoved. She didn't flinch. She didn't inhale. She simply gestured toward me as though I were an item she had lost track of. That was the instant the boundary was violated. I remained silent. Quietness was more devastating. Instead, I opened my phone, set it on the glass surface, and pushed it toward him with 2 fingers, steady, composed, emotionally vacant. "Take all the time you need," I said. He acknowledged with a nod, tension already visible. She grinned, a slight, unpleasant expression. That grin revealed everything. This wasn't driven by doubt. It was driven by degradation. And that's when the initial fracture in my devotion appeared. We occupied my workspace, my refuge. Yet she had converted it into an examination room. Documents and folders were arranged like prosecution exhibits. The atmosphere felt stagnant, confined behind the thick drapes she demanded stay drawn. She perched on the edge of the leather seat opposite me, legs folded as if she possessed the space, as if she possessed me. The auditor organized rapidly, computer open, cables scattered everywhere. His fingers hesitated above the keys before launching into their rushed, anxious rhythm. I observed him, but I studied her more closely. Her gaze never wandered to me even momentarily. She was anticipating, starving for evidence that would destroy me. She believed she held the advantage. It was nearly charming. It began 3 days prior. I had entered to find her whispering urgently into her device. "He's concealing something. I'm certain of it. I'll obtain evidence." Evidence. Not dialogue. Not worry. Evidence. She desired my guilt. And standing there presently, observing her practically trembling with expectation as the auditor delved deeper into my electronic existence, I experienced something subtle yet permanent break within me. A silent threshold. The variety you never recover from. Most individuals shout when they're deceived. They hurl objects, weep, demand explanations. I performed none of those actions. I simply shut down. One inhalation, one exhalation. Connection severed. The chamber suddenly felt frigid. But I was tranquil, almost peaceful. Because once affection expires, calculation commences. She failed to detect the transformation. She never detected anything that didn't center on her version of events. But the auditor did. He kept looking up at me as though he could perceive the atmospheric shift. While he labored, I contemplated not about her charges or my blamelessness. Those were meaningless. I contemplated timing, control, advantage. The fragments of her existence she didn't recognize I already governed. The financial holdings in her identity I supervised. The real estate. She never troubled to examine the ownership papers for the ventures she boasted about but didn't comprehend. She assumed this examination would reveal my wrongdoing. She didn't recognize I'd invested years ensuring she could never economically survive without me. I didn't need to fabricate proof. I didn't require sabotaging anything. I merely needed to unlock the entrance and allow the reality she dismissed to consume her entirely. Following the initial hour, his typing decelerated. Following the third, his brow was moist. Following the fifth, he continued massaging his head, mumbling to himself, reviewing files as if he'd discovered a viper's den. My device's display mirrored in his spectacles revealed spreadsheets she'd never viewed. Records she endorsed without reviewing. Exchanges she authorized unknowingly. Not my confidential matters, hers. Her obligations, her extractions, her marks on choices she attributed to me, her communications to her sibling about safeguarding herself by relocating funds where she assumed I'd never locate them. She believed she was executing an assault. She'd been constructing a testimony. At hour 6, he ceased typing completely. He clasped his hands, released a breath, shut the computer as if it had scorched him. Then he gazed at me, but he addressed her. "Ma'am," he stated, voice quivering. "I must recuse myself from this engagement." She stared. "What? For what reason?" He gulped audibly. "I cannot morally proceed. I should never have participated at all." "What is that intended to signify?" she demanded. He refused to respond to her. Wouldn't. His focus was locked on me. Not condemning. Deferential. Nearly terrified. "I apologize," he murmured, seized his case, and rushed out as if the structure were crumbling around him. The door clicked closed. Stillness. She rotated toward me, ashen now. "What did he discover? What did you orchestrate?" And for the initial time in months, I grinned. I rose, adjusted my collar, and moved past her toward the beverage cabinet. Dispensed a drink, deliberated over the ice. "You demanded the truth," I remarked. Finally facing her, my tone was even. Excessively even. I provided him complete access to everything. She swallowed heavily. "That's not a response." "No," I stated, advancing closer. "It's the sole response." Her expression constricted, dread seeping around the periphery. "Everything he discovered," I proceeded, "wasn't concerning me. It was concerning you. Your holdings, your activities, your efforts to conceal funds, your correspondence about constructing a case against me." She shook her head frantically. That's not illegal," I completed for her. "Or simply foolish." Her breathing caught. I placed the drink down untasted. "He withdrew because he understood accepting your case would render him an accomplice in your plot. He recognized precisely who was concealing something." She retreated one step, then another. "Why didn't you voice anything?" she whispered. "I didn't require it. Sometimes quietness is the most cutting instrument." I approached the entrance and opened it. "You desired conflict," I expressed softly. "You simply didn't anticipate defeat before the opening move." She didn't pursue me. She couldn't. Her reality was already disintegrating. Her holdings restricted. Her covert transfers identified. Her digital exchanges duplicated, her terror evident, all from her petition. "Audit every holding he possesses." In conclusion, she received her audit, just not the outcome she anticipated. And as I departed outside, allowing the chilled breeze to strike my features, I experienced nothing except lucidity. Some individuals annihilate themselves. All you must do is present them the reflection.